Hi guys, in this video we are gonna make these things. So we have to draw so many circles, which means we have to remember the circle's position and circle size, which means we need a array data type. So let's learn first of all how to use array data type and how to apply the array data type to make some kind of these pictures. So let's run what is an array. So we can declare a variable to store one value, right? So let's guess. If you want to use 10 circles, which means if you want to know 10 circle set point, you have to declare 10 variable. 1 equal 10, 2 equal 20, 3 equal 30. Right? So can you declare 10 variables? Yeah, that's fine. But what about 100 circles? That's ridiculous. So that's why we need array variable. Let's use array variable. So this is how to declare an array variable. So int array, and kind of this is array variable's name, equal, you need a curly brace to initialize the variable, kind of 10, 20, 100, 50, 30. So this is how to declare an array variable. So the chart, this is variable name, is a one-dimensional array, and this is integer type, which means the array's every items will be an integer data type. So this chart array variable has 5 items. Here, how to use the array variable? Let's use the print line chart bracket 0. So you can get to the items using this index. So this bracket means the index, which means chart 0. This means the first number of the array. So we call this 0 is array index. Array index, we are starting from 0. So if you have 5 elements, this number 10 will be the 0th element. First element, second, third, fourth. So you have to keep in mind the array index will starting from 0. So let's print out all the elements. Right? And let's turn the console like this, and let's run it. See, you can see the 5 elements. Or you can just print out giving the array name. That's another way how to print out all the members of array variable. See? In programming area, when you use the array variable, you need a for loop statement. So let's delete all the things and let's use for statement. And you can see 2 semicolon, and let's declare the array control variable. Let's say it's a 0. So from I is 0 until I is less than how many elements? It's 5. And I plus plus. And in the body, let's print out all the members using index. Chart I. Is this right? So let's run it. See, you can see. But if you add on one more element at the end of the array or between some kind of element, the total number of elements has been changed, right? Then you have to change this number into 7. But it's not good. So in this case, you can change this constant numbers using this one. So here, the dot length means the number of elements of the chart array variable. This is kind of object-oriented language. So this length is the kind of member variable of this array. So we can say, we can run this kind of things at the end of this video later. Anyway, let's use. So chart.length is the length of the chart array. So in using array variable, there are 2 ways to use array variable. there are two ways to declare the array variable. So this is one way. Let's try to run the other way. So let's make one more array, kind of int array, kind of this. This same to the previous one, but after the equal operator, you can use the new keywords in number 10. So this is just array variable declaration, but this is the array variable declaration and the initialization too. Do you know what's the difference? And after declaring the array variable, you can assign the value to the array variable using for loop. So let's use int I equal, we have set I equal 0 and I is less than bricks dot length in I plus plus and curly brace. And in this, within the for loop, you can assign the number to the array variable, right? So out this bricks I equal random 10. Oh, there is an error here, right? Because the random function returns float variable. In this case, you can use the integer function to convert the data values into integer number. So let's print out the number, bricks I. So there is no errors here. So let's run it. See? Now we can use array variable. So now let's make this kind of bar chart. Okay? So how can you do that? So let's delete all the things. So first of all, let's declare the array variable. Float one dimensional array chart equal new float. How many array variable element? 20. So we are gonna use the setup function and draw function too. In setup function, let's make the canvas 800. Let's use the frame rate as 5. And let's go into the draw function. First of all, background should be 255 to clear the background. Let's initialize this chart variable using for loop. For int I equal 0, I is less than chart.length and I plus plus. And for body, and chart I, let's initialize the chart numbers in random number. So random width. So we are going to use the chart. So you can say you can use random width to initialize the array variable. And then let's draw the chart array data type using the for loop. Int I equals 0, I is less than chart.length I plus plus, and for body. Okay, how can you draw the chart? So you have to use rect function. So you have to say, so we can draw one rectangle by one rectangle. So you have to keep in mind the left top corner of each rectangle. So all the rectangle has the 0 for the x, and for the y will be the increment by the height of the rectangle. So the x should be 0, right? But y should be I times height divided by the chart length. That's the x and y. So the width of the chart will be the chart I. And what about the height of the rectangle? It should be height. That will be same as that one. Chart dot length. So I think that's it, and let's run it. Oh, we need to set the colors of each rectangle. So before drawing the rectangle, we can use the fill function. you have to give 3 random number. 255, 255. Address, control R. See? So that's why we need array variable. From now on, let's try to make another thing. Have you ever seen this kind of pictures? This is from Piet Mondrian's. I like this picture. So this picture has red color, yellow color, and white, blue, and thick lines. Later, you're gonna make these pictures, so it will change. So it makes several times, which is similar to the Piet Mondrian artwork. But first of all, let's make these things. So it has similar colors but different layout. So we'll draw the random rectangle at random size in random point, random position. So first of all, let's try to make these things first. So to make this one, you have to keep the color information red, yellow, blue, and black, right? To do this, we're gonna use array variable. So in these situations, let's try to make some color canvas, which includes those colors. So we have to use a color type. The variable name will be C. It's up to you, and it's a one-dimensional array, and it has some colors. So you have to set the colors name here. To do this, you have to remember some kind of way to represent the color, starting from sharp. So this sharp means it will come the hexadecimal digit. You mean A from Z. So we will use in daily life decimal number 0 to 9, right? But to use the hexadecimal numbers, you have to use 0 from F. Here, the FF0000 means red. So we have 6 hexadecimal numbers. So this F means red, and the second number will be green, and the last number will be blue. If you can remember, if you don't know how to represent the colors in hexadecimal, you can just click the tools menu and choose color selector. So here, if you want to use green colors, click somewhere else, and you can click here. Then you can see this string, which is starting from sharp. That's the hexadecimal numbers for colors. So copy, and you can paste here. So any color, you can use any colors that you want. But anyway, so I'm gonna use another color, which is yellow. Is FF00. This is yellow. As you can see, if you click around here, you can see the yellow, right? So here is very similar to this number, right? So this is yellow, and I'm gonna use blue. 0000 FF. That's the blue. And what is white? 000000. As you can see, FF will be white, right? So the background will be white, so I don't need to use the white colors. So this C variable has the color, which has 4 different colors in array. So we will use some of colors randomly. So let's try to make 1 frame per second using frame rate function, and stroke rate will be 5. We are going to use thick border lines. And in draw function, let's use for statement to draw many triangles. 4. So yeah, so we need to declare a variable for the circles first. So int I equal 0 if I is less than 20. So which means we are going to use draw 20 something. So I plus plus. So in the for body, we'll use ellipse function. First, let's draw the ellipse first, and we have to choose the random position using random function. Width and random height. So let's close the windows for this. And how about the radius? So we didn't declare this variable, so inside the for loop we will use radius variable, and we'll use random size. So random 1 from 300. So if you give just one number to the random function, it will generate random floating numbers 0 to the number. But if you give two numbers like this, it will give us a random number between 10 to 300. And as I told you, this random function will return you a float number. So let's change the int variable with float. That'll be better, right? So I think that's it. So let's run it. Oh, I missed to use the fill function. So before drawing the ellipse, we have to use fill. And we have to give the color between these parentheses, right? So we have already the color palette here. So we'll choose one of the colors in randomly. So it is a little complicated to you, but let's see. We will use this one. So see, bracket 0 means we'll use the first colors only. So let's run it. So yeah, it uses only red ones. So we have to choose one of them, as I told you, randomly. So between the bracket, we'll use a random function and give the index randomly, right? So we have used. So see that length means the number of items in this color palette. So this random function will give you one of the index for the color palette. But as I told you, this random function gives us float numbers. That's why we need a integer number. Int function is complicated. So this random, we use random function and we have to convert to integer values, and we'll use that for index for the C variable, C array variable. I think that's it. See? So we are now drawing the ellipse. Let's change this thing into rectangle. So copy this sentence and change this ellipse function into rectangle. So this radius means the width of the rectangle, and this one is height of rectangle. And let's rerun it. See? In the beginning of this video, I told you we'll make these pictures. But yeah, next time. So in the next video, let's try to make these things.